Today we're going to be looking at some Am I the A-hole mental health edition, and please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment if you wouldn't mind, because it really does help the channel. Am I the a-hole because I wanna leave my boyfriend due to his mental health issues? I have been dating my boyfriend for about 10 months now. Backstory, we really hit it off and could talk for hours. The honeymoon phase lasted for months, but my boyfriend's mental health issues, bipolar and depression, often cause a lot of stress on us. I have my own issues, but I don't really have these tools to help him with his episodes. I often talk him out of suicide and spend all night worrying and crying about it if he's going to do it. He relies on me and says that I am the only person he trusts and the only person he needs. Lately I've had a lot of my own issues affecting me, and he has been treating me poorly, lashing out and such. It has started to feel like a chore to me with him some days, but I really do love him. But he doesn't want to help. He constantly refuses therapy or other avenues to help and solely relies on me. My heart aches whenever I think of leaving, but I know that for my future and mental health it may be the right thing to do for both of us. Am I the a-hole? This is very interesting. Straight away, I personally think no, and I'm a mental health advocate, but hear me out. As I always say, mental health is a reason for a certain behaviour, but it's not an excuse. And as much as I understand how difficult bipolar disorder is, depression is, you cannot solely rely on a single person to take care of you, especially if you're not willing to look after yourself, because that's not fair on the other person. And she shouldn't, or he shouldn't, feel guilty for feeling that way. If it's the relationship is affecting her mental health, it's affecting her happiness, it's becoming a chore, and the other person's not willing to help themselves, there's only so much you can do. You should never solely rely on a singular person, especially if you're not willing to help yourself. Obviously, if they had been in a relationship and he had started to become unwell and was trying to get help and was seeking therapy, and that person just decided, oh, this is too much for me, would they slightly be the a-hole? Probably. Would it probably be the best thing for the person that's unwell? Yes, because if that person's not willing to be with you while you're unwell, you don't want them there at your best time either. But in this situation, I definitely think no, you need to be trying to help yourself, and if you're unable to help yourself and you're in that state that you can't, you need to have other people as well. You can't just rely on a singular person. That is my opinion. I will see what some of the comments say. Not the a-hole. You need to prioritise your well-being and mental health. He's choosing to not get professional help and you're not responsible for the consequences of that. When it's clear he needs the help, you could give him an ultimatum, go to therapy or go home. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think ultimatums necessarily always work, but I do think that you could explain to them how it's making you feel, how you're struggling, and how getting therapy will benefit them. And if they're unable to do that, or they don't want to do that, you're not going to be able to continue with the relationship. I think that would be a healthy conversation to have. Am I the a-hole for not being what my great grandmother wants me to be and doing it for me and my mental health? So my great grandma, 78, basically has raised me since I can remember. Well, my mum took me back at the age of 7, and I didn't know my father till around 8 or 9. So my only real parent was my great grandma, and she's like tried to make me her little princess she could baby. My grandma was born in the 1960s, so she is not big on a nowadays customs and doesn't have a big interest on knowing them. She was raised Christian, and because it was back in the 60s, she's kind of the you have to be the book kind of person. She's also very opinionated and thinks if she says it's so, then it's so. Me personally, I am pansexual and few other things which she is totally against in every breath she takes. Of course, she still deals with it because I'm her first great grandchild. Let me say too, if she did that, would be like throwing away a lot of money. I'm her first great grandchild. Let me say, if she did that, would be like throwing away a lot of money. The thing that I mainly worry is on how she sees other religions, because I are Wiccan and haven't told her. Next year, it's also when I will get confirmed in church. Well, she keeps saying, I can't wait to see you get confirmed, and I'm definitely gonna be there. She gave me so much anxiety and hurt me so mentally, and in the end, I ended up in hospital because of other things occurring to the situation. By the way, my great grandma is very controlling. My mother said to just do it because after you get a lot of money and a party, so would that be being an a-hole? I don't really know. My mental health safety, or in the end I do something just for things from family and the church, am I the a-hole? Okay, this is a bit slightly confusing. I might have read it strange as well. In terms of being who you want to be, Wicca, pansexual, anything to do with what religion you want to follow or not follow, or your actual sexuality, sexuality, no, 100% not the a-hole. It is entirely up to you how you want to live your life. You only get one of them. It's nobody's business how you live your life. And if they truly, I know it's hard because when we say if they truly loved you, then they would support you. But some people think that they're loving you by doing or telling you to do, because obviously your grandma's very religious. So she truly believes that if you don't follow what she's saying, it will be bad, basically. But that, again, it's not your problem. She may have looked after you. She sounds, like you've said, very controlling. I definitely would just do what makes you happy. And if she can't be around for that, then unfortunately, that is one of those things that she may come around to it once she realises she's going to lose you. The money thing, I'm not sure if you're saying you lose out on money because when your grandma passes, does she be leaving money? Or you mean, but you said about a party, so is it that you will get a lot of money from the party? I wouldn't just get confirmed and have a party just to get the money, because not only are you feeding into your grandma's beliefs, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and that's going to hurt you emotionally because you don't want to do it. It's going to confuse everybody, and money is not the most important thing. I do think that you need to just forget the money. Don't listen to your mum about the money and do what makes you happy. 100% not the asshole for that. A-hole. 100% not the a-hole for that. But yeah, I wouldn't be thinking about the money. I think that's just going to confuse everything. I think, let's see what people said. Not the a-hole. She's a manipulative person. If you can, you should distance yourself. And if your parents are pushing you feelings away, I say cut them all off. If you can't distance yourself, I suggest family therapy. Yeah, family therapy could be a good option if they're willing to take part in it, but a lot of the time I know it can be difficult in these situations to get them to take part. If that is an option, definitely try it. But like this person said, anybody who won't allow you to be yourself, as hard as it is, you just need to cut them off, because the longer you are living with them and going along with what they're saying, the longer you yourself are getting hurt, and it's a waste of your precious time on this earth, in my personal opinion. Am I the asshole for telling my cousin that she needed mental help and couldn't spare money? I couldn't spare money anymore. My cousin, female 34, is mentally challenged due to something she got as a teenager, and she has 3 kids, male 11 and male 2. Back in October, while pregnant with her third, she caught a bus to KY from AR, where she knew nobody and had no financial stability. She calls me, female 17, 3 days ago to let me know that CPS had taken her newborn son. Apparently, according to the report, she'd left him face down in a hallway and walked away. She asked me to send her £250 so she can get alcohol and food. I told her, no, you should be worried about getting your son back and coming back home. After she cussed at me, she hung up. I called her mother, caretaker, my aunt, and she told me you should have sent her the money and be the bigger person. Okay, no, first, you should not have sent her the money. It sounds like this woman, or yeah, adult woman, she needs help. Her children, obviously CPS, I think that's American Child Protective Services, CPS obviously felt that the children or child was unsafe in that moment, and if she is requesting money for alcohol and food and not thinking about the child in that moment, then I believe that they are probably correct. I'm not sure about how correct mentally challenged is, but I do understand what you are trying to explain. It sounds like she needs support, and if her mother is the caretaker and she is telling you should have just sent her the £250, she's clearly not doing enough caretaking. I think somebody else needs to step in, it's not you, and get her support. But again, only she and her caregiver, which is her mother, can do this. You are 17, you are not responsible, you definitely shouldn't be sending her the money. That would have just been giving her money for alcohol anyway, which isn't going to help the situation. You need to just cut that off. If they get help, if they get the support they need, you can even explain to them that that's what they need to do, but then cut them off. If they do end up becoming better, or they get the support and the help, maybe you can reconnect with them. But absolutely under no circumstances is that your responsibility. You have a life to live. I know it can be difficult not helping people. I have fell into that trap so many times. So do as I say, not as I do. But it's sad, but it's not your responsibility, and the mother should be the one that's out there helping her if she's meant to be a caregiver. Because that whole situation sounds like somebody desperately needs to come in and sort it out, and it's definitely not you. I'm assuming everybody else agrees. Do not enable her. Yeah, you send her money and all you'll do is the kids harm. You're not obligated to give her money to begin with, family or not. She needs help, and giving her money isn't going to help. Yeah. As well, I just want to say on that point, you are not obligated to give anybody money. Okay, maybe, you know, you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your bills, unfortunately, but whether someone's a friend, family member, I will give people money when they need it. If I've got it, of course I will. I got into an issue of giving people money when I didn't have it, and that became a problem, and that caused me issues financially and emotionally. But if someone asks you for money and you don't have that money, or you don't want to give it to them, or you feel like you've been giving them enough money, or that it's gonna not help them, do not let anybody guilt you into giving money. There's this whole thing of that, I think sometimes, especially with family helps family out, and yeah, of course family helps family out, but it's give and take, and it also depends on the situation. You do not owe your family money just because they are family. I'm very strongly passionate about this subject. So let's see, we've got a bit of a long one now. Am I the a-hole for taking a break from school for mental health? Hello, disclaimers. YouTubers can use if you want. First time poster, sorry, using mobile a little tipsy. Well, this is me. Okay, so my son, 21, non-binary, grandparents gave me a college trust with a few stipulations that were never contracted or written down, just told me once or twice, and I was expected to remember. I remember a few: can't get married, can't skip a semester, must get above a 3.0. I have kept up with these rules until very recently. I used the first half of the trust on second year of a BFA in tech theatre, and have been using the other half in the associates in baking. As of recently, I've decided to take a break from college because of several reasons. The main being that I lost my health insurance from my parents on my 21st birthday this year, and the insurance I got from the government was not the best. Almost no one in my fairly large city took it. I met the love of my life and moved in with him and his kids in our own apartment. I have worked full time since COVID started, and all of these things together have made me my stress and anxiety flourish. So I tried cutting down my job to a part-time for a couple of months, and more stress because my partner could support me for the majority while I was finishing college. This, however, turned into a lot of stress and anxiety because for the first time ever I was able to pay for rent. I'm going to assume it was I wasn't able to pay for rent. I have started developing tics like someone with Tourette's or severe anxiety. I have multiple panic attacks weekly. So the next logical decision, besides breaking up with my partner and becoming a hermit, was to take a break from school. I made this as a very hard decision and talked to my dad, who seemed to understand. The issue come when I called and talked to my aunt, the overseer of the trust, today about the circumstances. I told her the gist of what was above and planned on going into the specifics of my mental health symptoms, but before I was able to, she spent the next 10 to 20 minutes telling me about how I broke my grandfather's heart and how I was the only grandchild with this gift and how she was ashamed of me. She also said my mental health excuses was a cop-out because I had nothing to worry about, like her daughter, who also took a break from school because of her mental health and family responsibility. Also stated that my partner and his kids were not my responsibility. I agree, but also they make me happy, so I'm not willing to cut them out. She ended the call by saying, your father did say you was having arguments or reasons behind taking a break, and I'm so glad you did. I hope those reasons make you feel good. And then she hung up. Why I might be the a-hole. I feel like I might have disappointed everyone in the family. This aunt has never acted this way before. Okay. Whew, that was a lot. First of all, thank you for saying that I could use this. I'm not the a-hole, okay? People's lives are complicated, things happen, and sometimes when rules are set out, like these rules for this trust, they're set out and they're very simple. They don't include things going wrong, possibilities of illness, mental health, bereavement, natural disaster. None of that included in the rules that I set out. I believe that these type of rules would have been set out by your grandfather in order to push you in the right direction, to help you to try and make sure that you do stay in college, which is university over here, you do stay in college and you make something of your life. I think what can happen sometimes is, as he's passed away, and obviously your aunt is the overseer, she might feel very protective of the trust and the rules, and also not really be thinking logically. But also on the opposite side of that, you can get a bit of a power trip when you're in control of money like that. Where's the money going to go if it's not given to you? It was left in a trust for you. But you do say that your aunt doesn't normally act like this, which does make me feel like maybe it's the other side of the scale where she just feels very protective of the money and the rules that were left for her to deal with. Also, she's mentioned that her daughter, was it? You said her daughter, the aunt's daughter, had dropped out, so maybe she's still upset about that. And like we say all the time, a lot of adults do not understand mental health. They don't understand the struggle. We'll often get told, oh, you've got nothing to worry about. First of all, you can be depressed and have the best life in the world. You can have bipolar and have the best life in the world. Mental health disorders can be worsened by situations, but they are an illness. Especially with certain illnesses, it's issues with brain chemistry, but also circumstances in your life, like you've explained, can bring on mental health issues that if you don't look after those mental health issues, things will get worse. You could force yourself to go to college and you might not do as well as you should have. You could end up dropping out, and then everything is dropping out completely, giving up, all because you were not given that chance to just take care of yourself for a bit of time that you've needed. I think maybe try and write it down, how you're feeling, so that she doesn't have a chance to cut you off. She might not read it. Maybe ask your father to speak to her, even though it sounds like he kind of did, but didn't. He said there was going to be an excuse or an argument. I would write it down, either email it, text it, send it as a letter, and give her some time. But you are definitely not the a-hole, and I think that you are much better taking the time that you need for your mental health than forcing yourself to do something right now that might have a negative impact in the future regardless. Explain to her that you're not giving up, you just need some time. People can be very close-minded, especially in situations when someone's passed and they are responsible for their wishes. It's not as cut and dry as just saying she's being selfish, but you also are not the a-hole. I think it's a very complicated situation, but I definitely think that hopefully if you can communicate that with her and she can understand, things might improve for you. I don't think that you should not take the break though, regardless of what happens, because she might not listen. She might not want to listen. She could be on some sort of power trip, and you've got to look after yourself. This is your life, your decision, and as long as you know yourself you're making the right decision for you, you're not the a-hole. But please don't drink your sorrows away. Nothing wrong with a wine, nothing wrong with being tipsy, just don't fall into that trap of just drinking your sorrows or only being able to talk about things when you've had a drink. So I hope that was helpful. I would love to hear an update. I will keep an eye on that post, but I hope all goes well for you. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. Sorry about my reading, I know it can be a bit tedious. Let me know how well I did. Please please leave some comments down below of any issues or stories, or am I the a-holes that you've had, and we can get a little chat going. Subscribe if you haven't already. I would love for you to join the channel. Please do share and like, because it really does help the channel grow. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. as soon as possible. I'll leave some videos that you may also like up there and down there, but that is everything for now. So wherever that you are, I hope you have a lovely morning, day or night, and I will see you again next time. Bye.